Welcome to the Chapter 8 review lesson. Today we will be working on measurement. Vocabulary. Use a word in the box to complete each sentence. A blank is the same length as 12 inches. Maya. Foot. Very good. Usually the length of a ruler. Number 2, and blank is shorter than a foot. Jasleen? Inch, right. Use color tiles. Measure the length of the object in inches. We will use the color tiles that have the length of about 1 inch to measure the length of the object. So we will start with the beginning line, line up our color tile with that beginning line, then place them end to end. I'll change the color on this one so you can see. So you want to make sure that you place the color tiles end to end so that they're not overlapping and there are no gaps between, directly end to end so the ends are just touching. Continue placing them until they just about, you all saw me struggle with the sizing before I did this. This is as close as I could get. So you want to make sure it lines up with the end of the object, with the line that shows where the object ends. So this string is about how many inches, Joanna? 3 inches long, right? We have 1, 2, 3 color tiles, each at 1 inch makes 3 inches. Next, draw a diagram, write a number sentence using a box for the missing number and solve. Paula has 2 ribbons. One ribbon is 11 inches long. The other ribbon is 9 inches long. God bless you. How many inches of ribbon does Paula have? So I'm going to highlight the important information. We know she has 2 ribbons. We want to know how many inches altogether. Is this a question when we're going to add the ribbon lengths together or we're going to subtract them? Erica, we're going to add them together. So we're working with 11 inches and 9 inches. So I'm going to draw them into my diagram here. My first length is 11 inches. So I'm going to draw a little line where my ribbon is going to begin. I'm going to draw a line where my ribbon is going to end. Where should I draw that little mark where my ribbon is going to end? Megan?
11.
At 11. Good. And then I'm going to connect the two. The line doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And I'm going to label this as 11 inches. Then right next to it, just like the color tiles with no gap in between and not overlapping, I'm going to continue from the 11 is my new starting point, and I'm going to count how many spaces? Ashley? 9 spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Drag my pencil up, make another little mark. Connect, and that represents the 9-inch ribbon. Where does that continuous line end? Erica? At the 20. So we know that an 11-inch ribbon plus a 9-inch ribbon is 20 inches of ribbon. I think it's important for us to also review that was an adding question. I think it's important for us to review how to use that diagram when we need to subtract. So here's another question I added to the lesson to review how to subtract using this diagram. Michael has a train that is 13 inches long. Richard has a train that is 8 inches long. How many inches longer is Michael's train? So we have 2 pieces of information here. Michael's train is 13 inches. Richard's train is 8 inches long. We want to know how much longer Michael's train is than Richard's. So we're going to start same way. We're going to represent Michael's train on the diagram, starting with a little mark at the 0. And where do I draw my ending mark to represent Michael's train? Anna? At 13, right, because it's 13 inches long. Now, Richard's train is 8 inches long. So Richard's train, I'm going to start exactly where Michael's train ended, and I'm going to count back down here on the number line. 1, 2, how many am I going to count back? You tell me. Elizabeth? 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I land here. I'm going to drag my pencil up, make another mark, connect it, and label that with an 8 for Richard's train. Now I just need to follow my pencil back down to where it landed, and I see that the difference is 5 inches. So now I have to do the same thing as it asked on the last question, which is to write a number sentence with a box for the missing number. So it's either 13 minus 8 equals box, or 13 plus box equals, nope. Sorry, it's 8 plus box equals 13. Okay, and the same number, since these are in a fact family, would go in both spots. So Michael's train is how many inches longer than Richard's train, Luke? 5 inches. Okay, that was a little bonus question. Going back to the lesson in your book, use an inch ruler, measure the length of the pen to the nearest inch. So my images are a little bit distorted up there, so I cannot actually do what you did because I made the images a little bit bigger, but I can show you how to line up your ruler. So here is a ruler, and we just need to make sure when we are lining our ruler up that we find the 0 mark on the ruler. On this one, I just need to change it so inches are on top. We need to make sure we're working with the inches side. When you look at a ruler, the space between inches is bigger than the space between centimeters, and it is usually labeled. You need to make sure you line up the 0 with the beginning line of the object, and wherever that ending line is where your object ends. So I'm going to delete this because it's not going to be accurate. What did you get for your measurement with the pen? Jasleen? 6 inches. The bead is 1 inch long. What is the best estimate for the length of the string? So you have to kind of look at that and ask yourself, how many more beads could I possibly fit on that string? And then include this bead that's already there. Luke? 4 inches, right. So what Luke is saying is that about this length, we could, let's say, I'm guessing 1, 2, that would be 2, 3, 4. You know that you could definitely not fit 10 inches there, 10 of those beads. You know that you couldn't fit 9, and it's pretty clear you couldn't fit 7. Which is the best estimate for the length of a real bulletin board? This word, estimate, tells you we're making our best guess. Okay, so we have had some benchmark measurements. We know that 1 foot is about the length of a ruler. We know that 3 feet is about the length of a yardstick or a baseball bat. We know what 30 feet is like, and we know what 300 feet is like. So we should be able to make a pretty good guess at how long a real bulletin board would be. Erica? So in our classroom, we have bulletin boards that are about 3 feet in the back on the closet. And then we have like the one in the hallway.
This is 30 feet.
So I would say they're probably looking for 30 feet or 3 feet. 30 feet, no, 30 feet is too long. 3 feet is the best answer here. 30 feet is probably about the length from our room, the beginning of our room to the end of Mr. Z's room if you put them together. So 3 feet is probably about the size of the ones in the back of on our closets, but 30 feet would be entirely too long. If you included the bulletin board outside plus the 2 pieces on either side, that could be close to 30 feet. Fill in the bubble for the correct answer choice. Use an inch ruler to measure. What is the length of the ribbon to the nearest inch? If it falls between inches, you're looking at the closest whole number. Maya, 5 inches. The bead is 1 inch long, which is the best estimate for the length of the string. Right off the bat, 2 answers that you know are not correct. Use the process of elimination. Which ones can we cross out right away? Erica? 9 inches, 6 inches, and then we already know it's more than 1, so it's got to be 3. Good process of elimination. Use the line plot. Now, this is a lesson that we did not cover in this chapter, but you're very familiar with these from our daily morning work. So how many books are 8 inches long on this line plot? This is just like the trees in the orchard that we've done on morning work for a couple days. Jasleen, 3 is correct. 1, 2, 3 X's. Janet wants to measure the length of a wall in inches and feet. Describe how these two measurements will be different. So let me set this up for you. The wall will be more blank than blank. Inches and feet go in those blanks. The wall or you could say the wall, the number of blank would be greater than the number of blank when we're measuring the same object. So you can answer like this, or the number So this sentence, if I measured a wall, the number of blank would be greater than the number of, I like the way I worded it here better. Let's go with this one. The number of blank will be greater than the number of blank. Than the number of feet. If you measure my height in feet, I am between 5 and 6 feet. If you measure my height in inches, I am exactly 68 inches. 68 is a higher number than 5 or 6, right? It's a bigger number. Does it mean the measurement is bigger? No, it means I'm using a smaller unit to measure. So if I say I measure this wall, and this is not correct, but say I say this wall is 10 feet. Can anyone tell me what 10 feet is in inches? Tim? 120 inches. Wow, Tim. Good job. 120 inches and 10 feet are the same amount. It's just like exchanging tens and ones. Okay, I can have 110 and 10 ones. Same amount. Any of your little brothers and sister would probably say, oh, I want the 10 ones. That looks like more. Right? Which would you rather have, 10 pennies or 1 dime? They're all going to want the 10 pennies, right? But we know about value. So if I say, you could be, when you grow up, you could be either 6 feet tall or you could be 50 inches. What is a kid going to want? A little kid, not smart like you, not second grader like you. What is a little kid going to say, Joanna? 50 inches? Wow, I want to be 50 inches. Guess what? Most of you, if not all of you, are over 50 inches. But 6 feet is taller than I am. Just because 6 is a smaller number does not mean that it is a smaller measurement. You have to think about the unit. Performance task. Dustin will use the red string and the blue string for a project. How many inches of string will he use? Red is 8 inches. Blue is 15 inches. 15 plus or minus 8. Plus 8. 23 inches. Thumbs up if you got it right. 23 inches of string. Last question. Suppose Dustin has some yellow string for his project. Should he use an inch ruler, a measuring tape, or a yardstick to measure the length of the string? Explain your choice. Thumbs up if you chose inch ruler. I'll accept it. Tell me why you chose inch ruler. Don't go erasing it if you chose something else. Don't you erase it if you chose something else. I didn't say you're wrong. Explain to me why you chose inch ruler. Chris.
Because it's like the size of everything.
Okay, and what are Dustin's other measurements of his strings? Is 6 inches smaller than an inch ruler? Is 8 inches smaller than an inch ruler? Yes. Is 15 inches smaller than an inch ruler? No, but could you measure 15 inches with an inch ruler? Sure you could. So judging by these other measurements, we could guess that Dustin's yellow string would be about in that area between 6 and 15, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So you could use an inch ruler. Give me a thumbs up if you said that he should measure with a measuring tape. I'll accept it. Tell me why.
You should use a measuring tape because it is easier measuring with it. Measuring with it because it is longer than a foot just in case.
Because it's longer than a foot. So what if his other piece of string is 17 inches? Well, I don't have to move my ruler if I use a measuring tape. Thumbs up if you chose yardstick. Great, I'll accept that too. Everybody was right. Tell me why you chose yardstick, Elizabeth.
Because 23 inches is like, I know that a foot is like about 12 inches.
Yeah.
So 23 inches is more than an inch, and then if they had more, it would be harder to.
So same reason as Joanna. You know that a yardstick is longer than 1 foot. So if there are more than 12 inches of yellow string, you can measure it without moving the ruler. You're all correct as long as you can provide a good reason about why you would choose the measurement tool. That ends our Chapter 8 review. Say goodbye.